All right, let's shift to the next section, which is obtaining a certificate to get a prescription for naloxone. If you're worried about a family member or friend and they've overdosed before, or you think they're using such high dosages because they've developed tolerance, you may want to go through this video and move on to obtaining a certificate. So you'd have to watch the video, answer some questions, and then come in and demonstrate your skill level with administering naloxone and doing rescue breathing. So as a certificate holder, you could save someone's life. So if you know of someone that's in your immediate family or even a next door neighbor, you may facilitate that family obtaining a certificate. So if you watch this and you learn a lot and you're not sure whether you want to get a certificate, watch it again and maybe reconsider. Sometimes things change and somebody has overdosed. Often an overdose follows an overdose. In fact, if you've overdosed once, it's actually much easier to overdose a second or a third time. And that's the scary thing about an overdose. So if you obtain the certificate, it's good for 2 years. You need to show the certificate to obtain the prescription. So you show it to a physician or a nurse practitioner. They'll write for the prescription. You'll take it to a pharmacy. Sometimes a local health department might be able to dispense this. And sometimes a physician or nurse practitioner's office would have dispensing authority. So you'll figure that out once you get into the system in your local jurisdiction. So if you lose it, you're going to pay a fee to get another copy, and you'll need to keep that. So put it in a safe place with your other important documents. There is a renewal, so give yourself lead time to renew it and find out what the renewal requirements are. So at least 90 days and maybe even 120 days is advisable. And you administer the naloxone according to the steps which were outlined in this video and in the demonstrations. And you make a good faith attempt to get more competent medical care there. So that's why calling 911 is such an important thing to do. Some people are worried about that. Many states, in fact about 20 states, have some form of a Good Samaritan Law where if you call in good faith in an overdose situation, there may be partial or full immunity from arrest and prosecution. So many states have been worried that individuals might be reluctant to call competent medical care, so they're considering these unique situations where a life could be saved. You could lose your certificate if you use it improperly, or you don't administer the naloxone in the way that you were trained to administer it. So there's a protocol, there are steps. Those steps are meant to be followed. They're in place for a reason. It's for the safety of the individual. And if for some reason you thought you knew more than the training and the steps and the protocol and you wanted to shift away from that, you could be at risk of losing your certificate. And the training entity needs to issue you a valid certificate, and you need to complete the training and demonstration steps. So some local training entities will do all of the presentation with you in the room. Another option will be to watch the video and then come in and do the demonstration. So it could be in a live training session, or it could be through the internet and then coming in for the demonstration. So after you administered the naloxone, we want to track through the Poison Control Center of the state that in fact there was an overdose, you administered the naloxone, and what the outcome was. This gives very good information about how used is the naloxone that gets out into the community. And this will really give us a way of proving the usefulness of this. You know, even one life saved is a compelling enough reason to do it, but if in the course of a year multiple lives are saved, you're going to have many grateful persons and families. And this is, you know, at such a crisis level that, you know, this action is safe and fully justified.